The time has come. You are now standing in the 111 portal, and your comeback is just around the corner. You are not here to repeat the life you've been living. You are here to rise. Today isn't another date on a calendar. Today marks the moment the energy flips in your favor. The 111 portal has finally opened, and if you felt like life has been testing you, pushing you, stretching you, this is the point where that pressure begins turning into power. Listen, whatever you've been facing lately, whatever setbacks tried to break your confidence or slow your momentum, this portal is not here to remind you of the past, it's here to restart your future. It's the activation moment for the people who didn't give up, even when nothing made sense. And if you're watching this, that's not an accident. This is your comeback energy finally arriving. And stick around, because there's an actual meaning behind the numbers in this portal. Trust me, you will be mind blown when you find out what it is. I'll go over it later, so keep watching. But wait, before we continue, I need to warn you. This portal is erupting as we speak, and every second is crucial. This portal is peaking right now. For the next 48 hours, everything accelerates. Not gradually, instantly. This portal doesn't come in gently, it drops you straight into alignment, ready or not. And if you've been feeling aligned with the energy of this portal, feel free to leave 111 in the comments along with your thoughts if you want to align with this portal. We are under a really crucial window right now. This portal stays open as we head into the supermoon, which means this isn't just an opening, it's a launch point. Because the people who recognize this energy, the ones who respond to it, are the ones who get the breakthrough instead of watching it pass by. This means that you need to be aware of what this portal is bringing right now so that you can be aligned with it. So pay attention. You know those moments where you showed up for your life even when it felt like nobody noticed? Where you put in the work, kept the faith, trusted the process, and whispered your intentions into silence because there was no applause, no proof, no guarantee. This portal wasn't designed for the loud. It wasn't made for the ones who need validation. It was carved for the souls who kept going when nothing around them said they should. And if you're listening to this, there's a reason. You weren't overlooked. You weren't forgotten. You were being prepared in a space where the world couldn't see you, but the universe always could. The quiet effort, the discipline nobody praised, the internal battles you fought in the dark. That was not wasted energy. That was investment. Spiritual power isn't built in the spotlight, it's forged in silence. This portal carries a frequency that rewards persistence, sincerity, and spiritual integrity. It's here for the ones who stayed loyal to their path, even when it didn't look glamorous. And hear this clearly. Your effort wasn't invisible, it was witnessed. It was recorded. It was building momentum so silently that even you didn't realize how close you were. If life felt unfair recently, if you felt unseen or underestimated, don't mistake that for abandonment. That was the universe sharpening your edge. Because when the breakthrough arrives, the ones who stayed consistent will rise the fastest, not because they got lucky, but because they earned it when nobody was watching. Your delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing stretching itself to match your destiny. Now this portal isn't just opening a door, it's recognizing you. And recognition in the spiritual world doesn't sound like applause. It feels like alignment, finally catching up to your effort. And this surge you're feeling, this shift in your chest, that's life saying, be ready. What you planted in silence is about to grow loud. Even though the supermoon hasn't risen yet, sensitive souls already feel its pull like gravity on the spirit. You don't need to see it for it to affect you. It's already here in frequency, already stirring intuition, already heightening your awareness. This isn't just another moon. This is the biggest supermoon of 2025, and it's amplifying the 111 portal like a cosmic amplifier turned all the way up. Most people wait for the moon to show in the sky, but spiritual systems don't operate on human schedules or visible timelines. The energy starts before the light does. Some of you woke up recently with that sudden surge of purpose, that weird sense of something is breaking open, that quiet fire in your gut. That's not coincidence, that's resonance. The moon doesn't need to be visible to move the tides, and you don't need approval to rise. This supermoon is already stretching your energy, expanding your intuition, and pulling your future self closer. The portal activated the moment the calendar hit November 1st, but the supermoon is charging it, turning intention into momentum and momentum into shift. It's like spiritual acceleration, not chaotic, but precise, like gears locking into place. Be aware, this isn't passive energy. This is a rising current, a magnetic pull toward alignment, courage, and action. If you feel more alert than usual, more emotionally awake, or like your thoughts are sharper and your goals suddenly feel urgent, that's the moon and the portal syncing, tuning you to a frequency where hesitation simply can't survive. When the universe turns up the volume, you can't pretend not to hear your calling anymore. The supermoon isn't arriving, it's already influencing. And the combination of this portal and this moon is not something you ride casually, it's something you meet fully, like stepping forward into your own potential without flinching. Now pay attention, because this next phase isn't passive, it's not reflective, it's catalytic. And if you think the energy feels intense now, what comes next is where everything begins to move. Everyone repeats the idea that the number one represents a new beginning, a fresh cycle, a doorway opening. And yes, that's true. But it's the surface truth, the one that's easy to repeat and easy to digest. What almost nobody talks about is the second layer, the one that actually makes this portal powerful. The number one doesn't just begin something, it begins alone. That's the part people don't like. New chapters are romantic when you imagine support, applause, companionship, reassurance. But real initiation rarely shows up with witnesses. This portal isn't handing you comfort, it's handing you a mirror, asking if you're willing to walk forward even when no one is walking beside you. True beginnings don't start with celebration, they start with silence and self-belief. When you see one, it's not the universe promising that someone is coming to save you, it's the universe reminding you that you are the one who starts the fire. The number one is a spiritual ignition point, not a group effort, not a safe transition, a solo leap. This moment is about raw independence, spiritual independence, emotional independence, energetic independence, not isolation in the wounded sense, but self-selection. The portal isn't saying, "You're alone." It's asking, "Can you move before the world validates you?" And that's where most people hesitate, not because they're weak, but because nobody teaches us that solitude is a sacred phase, not a punishment. There is a strength that only forms when you have nothing to lean on except your inner truth. There is a clarity that only arrives when external noise disappears. Beginnings require bravery, not permission. Right now, life is not trying to hold your hand. It's challenging you to trust your step. And for the ones who are ready, this portal doesn't feel like a gentle nudge. It feels like a door swinging open into a path only you can walk. Others will catch up later. Support will appear later. Recognition will come later. But the first step, that has always been yours. If you feel like you're starting something without applause, congratulations, You're exactly where the 111 energy wants you. This phase isn't about who joins you, it's about who you become when you walk forward without needing anyone to validate your direction. You might notice it already, that sudden urge to unplug from everyone, to cancel plans, to withdraw from noise, to step away without explaining why. It might feel confusing, especially if you're usually social or if you've been craving connection. But this pull isn't emptiness, it's summoning. This portal doesn't isolate you to rest, it isolates you to initiate. There's a difference. This isn't burnout retreat energy, this is inner room temple energy. It's the moment before a transformation where the universe narrows your world on purpose, not because you're losing people, but because you're reclaiming yourself. Solitude isn't absence, it's alignment in its purest form. This portal represents 3 pillars: mind, body, and spirit, aligning like precise locks, turning in sequence. And alignment doesn't happen with distraction. Your mind can't hear truth when it's entertaining noise. Your body can't shift if it's carrying everyone else's emotional weight. Your spirit can't rise while you're still plugged into vibrations that no longer match your direction. So the pull you feel? It's not detachment, it's concentration. You aren't disconnecting from people, you're reconnecting to purpose. Some will feel pressure instead of peace, not because something's wrong, but because something is waking up inside you. Clarity doesn't always arrive gently. Sometimes it arrives through tension, through the discomfort of finally seeing who you are and what you need to do. Isolation becomes initiation when you stop fearing the silence. In this space, insights don't come as dramatic visions, they come as tiny, undeniable truths that keep tapping on the inside of your mind. This is who you are now. This is what you can't ignore anymore. This is where your real life begins. Don't chase signs during this phase. Don't force meaning. Let the silence sharpen you. Let the quiet burn away doubt and hesitation. You're not being removed from the world, you're being pulled inward to prepare for the version of life that's on its way. And remember, solitude is not the absence of energy. It's where the frequency rises first. The world meets you after. The calling meets you now. And if you can hold this space without trying to fill it, what comes next will not just change your path, it will redefine your identity. If you start catching tiny glimmers in the corner of your eye, if colors feel slightly louder, if stillness suddenly feels alive, pay attention. This portal doesn't awaken your vision the way movies portray it. No dramatic apparitions, no cinematic flashes. It awakens the quiet sight, the kind you had before logic became your prison and intuition became an afterthought. For many of you, the return won't feel mystical, it will feel familiar, like memory returning to a sense you didn't know you'd forgotten. Little flickers, moments where the room feels charged, where light seems to stretch instead of shine, where air feels dense with presence, all subtle but undeniable. Not hallucination, perception. The world around you hasn't changed, your sensitivity has. This portal heightens micro-awareness, shadows shifting when nothing moves, tingling sensations when spirit passes near, tiny sparkles of light when energy crosses your field. These are not mistakes of the mind, these are signs of spiritual optics reactivating. You're not seeing things, you're finally seeing again. For some, it will come through feeling instead of sight. A sudden knowing someone entered your energetic field, feeling watched not by fear, but by guidance, sensing movement in a room where the physical body stands still. These are the whispers of awareness sharpening. We live in a world that worships logic and silences intuition. But logic can only interpret what is already known. Intuition translates what is arriving before it lands. This portal is not gifting you new perception. It is restoring original perception. The way you once saw the world before adults told you magic wasn't real, before society convinced you intuition was imagination, before you traded instinct for instruction. You're not imagining things. You're perceiving what most people forgot how to notice. Subtle sight is the universe testing who's ready. The quiet gifts always return first. Have you noticed these sensations? The flickers, the shift in the air, the presence without form? If so, feel free to comment so others see they're not alone. We're moving into a frequency where subtle has always been the most powerful language. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to someone ancient, the you before the world dimmed you. We glorify transformation, reinvention, leveling up. But sometimes, the most sacred evolution is not becoming, it's uncovering. This portal isn't sculpting a new identity, it's peeling back the layers that life piled on you. The conditioning, the fear, the doubt, the self-censorship you learned to survive, all temporary masks. This energy cuts through them like spiritual wildfire. You might notice it as sudden flashes of memory, not memories of events, but memories of self. A forgotten fire in you waking up, a talent you pushed aside, a dream you once held like oxygen, a version of yourself that felt fearless, curious, imaginative, sovereign. These aren't nostalgia, they're retrieval. You're not lost, you're just layered. The collision between this portal and the coming full moon creates a frequency that shakes identity loose. When that happens, old goals may feel alive again, past passions may tug on your spirit, hobbies you abandoned might suddenly feel magnetic. You may feel called back to the truth you outgrew, not because it was wrong, but because life forced you into survival when you were born for expansion. There are parts of you that were not broken, they were buried. Buried under responsibility, expectation, rejection, misunderstanding. Buried under trying to fit into spaces that never matched your soul. This portal does not give you a new destiny. It reintroduces you to the one that was always yours. Awakening isn't discovering who you are. It's remembering who the world made you forget. This is not reinvention. This is resurrection. The version of you that was pure, powerful, unfiltered, the one life tried to tame, is stirring. Not in rebellion, but in recognition. Because the next part of your journey doesn't require a new self, it requires your true self. And once that self returns, nothing in your reality will feel the same again. There are shifts that feel gentle, like a breeze moving through your thoughts. And then there are shifts like this portal, where perception doesn't expand, it snaps open. You may wake up and look at your life, your patterns, your attachments, and think, how did I ever believe that was the limit? Places where you once felt stuck suddenly seem paper thin. Ideas you defended start dissolving in real time. Assumptions you carried like truth begin breaking apart like old walls that can't hold anymore. This is not confusion, it's clarity with no patience left. This portal doesn't whisper, maybe consider. It says, see it for what it really is now. This portal opens your mind not by feeding you new information, but by removing the blindfold you didn't know you were wearing. Awakening isn't learning. It's unbelieving everything that kept you small. The world may not change around you overnight, but your angle of perception will, and that's enough to start a chain reaction. Because once you see truth, pretending not to see it becomes impossible. This is why people feel restless during this portal. It's not anxiety, it's awareness, catching up to what your soul has known for months. You're not losing stability, you're shedding illusions you mistook for stability. You don't become open-minded by forcing your mentality wider. You become open-minded when old mental cages collapse and there's nothing left to hold you in place. And when that happens, the life you once tolerated becomes too small. Don't resist this shift. Don't panic at the inner stretching. Let your reality breathe. What fits will stay. What doesn't will fall. And what rises in its place will be something you've been ready for far longer than you realized. This upcoming full moon isn't a soft emotional wave. It's a tectonic plate shift inside your spirit. Not dramatic on the surface, not loud, not messy, but deep, like something shaking under the ground where your emotional foundations live. People think emotional release means crying, venting, breaking down. But this moon operates differently. It goes silent. You may not shed a tear, but your energy field will. You might not cry, but something inside you will finally let go. Old moments might flash in your mind out of nowhere. You might suddenly think of someone you haven't considered in years. These are not random thoughts. They are emotional memory files unsticking themselves. Don't mistake it for nostalgia. Nostalgia tries to bring you back. This energy pulls memory up only to flush it out. It is a purge disguised as remembrance. The body is mostly water, and water stores emotional memory. A full moon pulls on the tides, yes, but it also pulls on the tides inside you. Your body will release what your heart was too tired to process. So if you feel off, if you feel spaced out, if you feel like something inside you is shifting without words, good. That means it's working. Quiet emotional earthquakes are often stronger than the dramatic ones because they don't take your energy, they return it. Release doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it feels like breathing again without knowing you were choking. Let yourself be moved. Let the internal tide rise and fall. This isn't chaos, it's cleansing. And once this moon completes its pull, you won't feel drained. You'll feel lighter in ways you can't yet explain. Because what's leaving isn't emotion, it's weight. If your sleep turns chaotic, fractured, restless, or suddenly hyper-alert in the middle of the night, don't panic and don't try to force yourself back down. This full moon isn't here to soothe you, it's here to unearth you. You're not being kept awake because you're anxious or restless or off. You're being kept awake because something inside you is trying to surface. This moon isn't messing around. It works in the hours when the conscious mind relaxes and the spirit steps forward. This full moon, landing in intense territory in the zodiac, doesn't rock you gently into dreams. It shakes the inner ground you've been walking on. It stirs locked memories, forgotten desires, inner truths, unresolved energy. It refuses to let the subconscious stay silent. And sleep isn't being disrupted because something is wrong, it's being disrupted because something is unlocking. So if you find yourself wide awake between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., if your body feels restless, if your mind feels loud, if your chest feels like energy is trying to push itself upward, don't fight it. Don't get frustrated. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Pay attention. Because those hours, those are the sacred hours. The veil thins, the identity softens, and the spirit steps into the front of your awareness. Awakening doesn't always happen in meditation. Sometimes it happens when the universe refuses to let you sleep through your turning point. This moon isn't letting you rest because it's working. It's extracting something, a blockage, a memory, a limitation, a belief you've outgrown. It's like a spiritual surgeon who does the operation when the world is quiet enough for you to hear the truth. You might feel a strange pressure in the head, a heaviness behind the eyes, warmth in the spine, tingling in your hands or chest, not symptoms of sickness, but signs of energetic release, like something is being rewired, rewritten, reopened. Don't rush to interpret every sensation. Don't try to fix your sleep cycle right now. The night is not broken, you're being broken open. And what you feel in those silent hours may matter more than everything you do in daylight, because nighttime awakening is where the soul whispers what the daytime self is too distracted to hear. Ride the wave. Let the moon move you. Something inside you is clearing, and when it's done, sleep will return. But you won't return as the same person who closed their eyes. One of the biggest mistakes people make during portals like this is trying to dissect every feeling, every sign, every dream, every shift. But this moment isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a current to step into. Stop trying to decode everything. Stop trying to make linear sense out of multidimensional movement. This portal colliding with this full moon wasn't built for clarity. It was built for ignition. Stop chasing understanding. This phase isn't for knowing. It's for becoming. Right now, the universe is asking for motion, not comprehension. This isn't a cerebral upgrade, it's a soul command. You don't need to have a plan. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to figure out the meaning of every synchronicity. Not everything sacred announces itself in logic. Sometimes you don't understand the direction because you're not meant to walk intellectually, you're meant to walk instinctually. You are being moved toward a version of yourself your current mindset hasn't met yet. That's why overthinking feels heavier right now. That's why forcing clarity feels impossible. You're not failing, you're transitioning. There will be moments where you feel pulled somewhere with no explanation. Moments where a thought arrives like a spark without context. Moments where you feel a shift, but can't define it with words. Don't numb it by needing certainty. Trust that clarity will reveal itself after you act, not before. Life expands when you move first and understand later. Let yourself be guided by instinct, sensation, intuition, impulse. The pure signals before thought gets in the way. Not reckless movement, conscious surrender. You don't need to know where every step leads to take the first one. This portal is not handing you a blueprint, it's activating the part of you that doesn't need one. You're not here to follow, you're here to respond. You're not here to decode, you're here to awaken. So breathe. Let the unknown be sacred instead of scary. Let uncertainty be a sign you're stepping into a life your old self never had the capacity to imagine. You don't need understanding right now, you need trust, instinct, and willingness. The knowledge will come, the clarity will click. But the ignition? That's happening right now, whether your mind can label it or not. And when understanding finally arrives, it will not explain your journey. It will reflect the strength you had to walk through it without needing all the answers first. You are not supposed to have it all figured out right now, and forcing yourself to understand every internal shift is how people accidentally suffocate real progress. When your life is rebalancing, clarity doesn't arrive in perfect sentences. It arrives in pieces. It arrives in behavior changes before mindset changes. It shows up in your decisions before you consciously know why you made them. Right now isn't about enlightenment. It's about adjustment. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.